I went onto YouTube, went to the search bar, and typed just the letter T. And a whole slew of options came up. Different things that people are searching for. These are the trending topics that people are searching for if you type the letter T first. So you could choose any letter. But anyway, I went with T. That's the first letter of my name. But Tom, the top of the list is the first English language type of content that came up. So I went through a bit of a rabbit hole, or mouse hole if you want to call it that, because it is Tom and Jerry, to see what this is all about. Why is Tom and Jerry trending, right? And there's a whole thing. There's a whole doing a bit of a remake in Asia later this year. There's a bunch of compilation videos that Warner Brothers released recently. There's a lot of content that's sort of flooding out there with millions of views. And it's funny to me because the 2021 movie release didn't have very good reviews either from critics or the audience. So I don't understand what's going on with Tom and Jerry and why it's so popular. But anyway, what am I getting at here? Well, this is an example of how to create content within 5 minutes. It's so easy to find content ideas these days. And look at that. This is a unique content piece that you can talk about. You can add some commentary to it, right? So in my case, this is a 1960s type of cartoon, and they're doing a bit of a relaunch of it, and it doesn't really resonate with me. It's quite a violent type of cartoon, because I'm more of a 90s baby, so I was more into the Pokemon stuff. But it's fascinating to me that this show is making somewhat of a comeback in other areas of the world, and maybe it spawns the discussion around, should we have more shows in Asia that get remade into North American shows, like maybe some cartoons over there, especially with anime. There's just an endless amount of content right over there. You've got Dragon Ball Z that had some success, and then Pokemon is massive success all over. But this is an example of content generation within seconds, right? And a lot of people get wrapped up in what it is they're searching to create. So content creation in terms of search is one way of figuring out what you want to talk about next, what you want to write about, right? The reason why this is so powerful is because every social media platform, no matter which platform you're on, typing in that search bar is going to help with trending topics. It's a very powerful tool, that search function. No matter what topic you're interested in, there's basically a headline for you right there. And people should capitalize on it. And people are, right? People are doing commentaries about news articles every single day. They're going on whatever news site, doing a bit of a search, what are the top headlines, and then they're just talking about it amongst themselves. And then, boom, podcast created, and this is what they're releasing out into the world, and it's done. So that's one way of doing it. Search. Tom and Jerry. Oh, look at that. Showed up on YouTube. Hey, I could talk about that. I can talk about my nostalgic childhood and whether that resonated with me back in the day, or I can talk about that, or ask about whether this should be trending, and is this even a good enough show to be relaunched in other parts of the world. So That's really it. And you just free flow it. You make a podcast out of it. What are some other ways to essentially find that next content piece? Well, listicles are a really good idea. Top 10 movies, top 10 songs, top 10 food items, top 10 ice cream, top 10 heating machines, top 10 laptops, whatever it is that interests you, you can find this easily from listicles, right? So you can certainly find that from search, but you might have some advice or expertise in a certain area, right? Top 10 ways to be successful in the world. And then you just talk about it one by one by one. And I like 10 as a number because it's really easy to generate paragraphs of content because you've now separated this out. Instead of saying, I need to make this entire video about Tom and Jerry, you now have, 10 items, and you just talk to each one. And then you're likely to have a significant piece of content, massive content, just because you started with this list of 10. Look, you could do a list of 3, a four item list, 5, and you can just write essays and essays about each bullet point and keep going with that, right? You can make it endless. So it's a very powerful way to organize your thoughts, to say, I'm going to talk about these 10 items, 25, 100 items. And it really just helps you write a script for what it is you want to talk about. So listicles, very powerful. They've always been powerful. I never see this slowing down. I mean, you could even make a whole channel based on listicles. So it's a legitimate way to create content. What else? Well, there's content from your life. So by the time you're 18 years old, you have multiple careers worth of content ready to be shared with the world. Your personal story, by the time you're 18, is more fascinating than anything you could dream up. And it's just sitting there, waiting for you to talk about it. For instance, let's say your life was, you think your life was very boring and dull for the first 18 years of your life. You're just a very boring, dull person. There's nothing to talk about. You are essentially Mr. Boring Dude, just as an example. There are people out there who are also boring and dull, and they might resonate with you. So they're going to jump on and listen to what you have to say, because you're talking about your boring experiences. In high school, you were so boring that you ate in the teacher's classroom. In university, you were so boring that people were falling asleep during your presentation. You talking about this makes you human, makes you interesting. I want to learn more about you. I want to learn more about your problems, your struggles. I am now invested in who you are as an individual. All because you are willing to share some of your life, right? Your first year of college, which is literally before you turn 18 for most people, if you go straight out of high school, that first year of college, there's dynamite content there. Your entire high school experience is incredible content that people would love to hear. From high schoolers to people reminiscing about their high school years. They're interested in this stuff. Talk about your childhood traumas. What did you go through? What kind of surgeries did you have? What kind of toys did you play with? What did you want to do when you grew up, when you were kind of growing up? What drew you in? Yeah, 18 years will provide tons of content. And it just requires some reflection of your childhood. But there is, and your teenage years, and your adolescence, but there's some good content there, and people want to hear it, okay? Okay, let's finish this off. Final one. Content creation in terms of spreadsheets. I have a single spreadsheet. There's 4,000 ideas on that spreadsheet, collected over years and years of observation. I started to pay attention to the world. I started to look at what was interesting to me out in the world and just observing and thinking and listening from one thing to another. I just wrote it out. I'd have my phone nearby in most instances, or I'd make a note to write it out when I get home. And some nights my ideas in my head would be flowing from observations throughout the day. So I would go on the spreadsheet and write it all out. And now there's 4,000 ideas. I don't know how I'll be able to hit every single idea. And it's actually very tragic when you reflect on how many ideas you could dream up just with a spreadsheet in your hand. It's crazy. You just have however many columns, blog posts ideas, video ideas, book ideas, audio ideas, just miscellaneous ideas, bold ideas, and you just fill out the column. Now, it becomes very disorganized over time to have all these ideas. But what's good about the spreadsheet is you can search and continue to add more columns if you want to break it up and make it a little bit more organized. But you do like Control F, and then you can find anything within this spreadsheet. So I like this. Now I pair the spreadsheet with Google Keep. Okay, so I use Google Sheets, Google Keep. Google Keep's very good for just like a quick topic idea that you have. You just jot that down, right? And then you throw it, especially if you've got, I don't know, an idea coming up and you just want to quickly write it down. You don't want to forget it. Google Keep's great for that. And you just copy paste that into the spreadsheet later. Say you want to expand on the idea, right? You don't want to be writing out paragraphs in a spreadsheet, because then 4,000 ideas becomes a pretty massive disaster. So, I pair this with Google Docs, right? I have this trio, the triple threat. You got Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Keep. This is like a massive combination thing. These three tools. And I build off the ideas through a Google Doc, right? I journal out an idea that's sticking in my head. I just write it out in paragraph form as the script. And then that now serves as text content. I can now use that to catapult my video content creation, extract the audio from the video content, put it up on my podcast, and bada bing, bada boom. There's the content. But it all came from this one idea of just jotting my thoughts down. Anytime something came up, I'd jot it down, let it sit, and I might come back to it a month, 2 months, year, 2 years later. But it's there. I've got it. And it's helpful. Now, maybe you don't want to have a triple threat of programs to organize this. Anytime a thought comes in your head, See, there's just constant thoughts coming through my head, and always overthinking things, so helps get things out of me. What you could do to simplify it further is just use Google Docs, right? You have a single Google Doc and just open it up, type out the idea, and then carry on with your day. Because that also works. It's fairly free-flowing. What I don't like about that is, how do you organize that? Once you have book thought, video thought, article thought, bold thought, it all gets kind of jumbled, and you don't have any columns to sort of separate it out. So that's where the spreadsheet's kind of helpful. But that's it. Those are the ideas, right? For endless content. And we're not even talking about AI generation here, because the people who are using AI, I get it. It's convenient. It allows you to create content at this unimaginable scale. But a lot of these social media platforms are getting intelligent about saying no to the AI content. They're basically saying, look, we aren't going to promote this. And whatever successful AI content that's out there, it's going to be caught by whatever algorithms are created. So I don't see it being a long-term solution. This content that I'm creating right now, it isn't something that could have been developed by AI. It's personal discussion, personal experience. It's not replaceable, right? So that's why I like this approach. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. I'll finish it off with this one question. Should Tom and Jerry be trending? Till next time. Bye.